Okay, so I'm not sure what else to share with you. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you, Ajahn. I just want to, because just now you mentioned something about it's all about samsara. You said something like that, right? How do I use that to reconcile with whatever, let's say, negative feelings that I have?
Okay. 5 khandas. The first khanda, the body, we need to feed it, and it carries the 5 senses. The interface between this thing inside and the world are the 5 senses. Whatever the 5 senses feed into the other 4 khandas are always evaluated by those first 3. And those first 3 is always working on the basis of your views. So the quality of the views determine what you feel and what you perceive. The inside the consciousness, the views and all that are already old history, judgment, old conditioning. What you find to be pleasant, what you find to be unpleasant. It also already also give you a lot of definitions. Cup, robe, microphone, all these things are predetermined. By the time you get to this age, it's all programmed. At the same time, it's also programmed. If somebody shows you the wrong finger, it's not pleasant. It shows you the thumb, that's pleasant. Some shows you thumb and index finger together, it means something. Also all pre-programmed, whether you like it or not. And we all recognize the meanings behind that. In addition, from the more obvious meanings, we also pick up historical patterns. As in, you can read some people to be sincere, you can read some people to be malicious, you can read some people to be too lawsaw, and all that also colors the basic information. And in all that, as the information comes in, you will have your sankhara, which you then think about it, process it, come to a conclusion, and whatever conclusion you come up with, you add into your preferences and prejudice. Because now I have learned that this person is a very nice person, I want to hang out with this person more. That person more unpleasant than pleasant, I rather. So those things add into your preferences and prejudices. Then there's this idea of long-term, short-term. If you only know a little bit, your conclusions are normally short-term conclusions based on if something is nice, I grab it and take it, eat it, I will feel happy. Longer-term conclusion, if I grab it and eat it and then the other person claims ownership to it, I'm in trouble. And then, like I was saying, most of us don't have memory that goes very far before 5 years old. Very few of us can see past one lifetime. Very, 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 very few of us can see 50,000 lifetimes. How much you can see determines what conclusion you come up with. So it's not surprising that in samsara, most of us are not so wise. Which then says that it's not surprising that most of us are quite unpleasant to each other. It's understandable lah. That's how nature of these 5 khanda is when you don't have memory more than further back than 5 years old. So, when you come across unpleasant people, especially, they're just not as fortunate as you are or we are, having come across a wiser teacher who shares what he has learned. Do you blame other people for not having come across such teachings? Is it their fault for not having heard? Not really, right? So we make statements like, yeah, karma not ripe yet, but understand what that means, roughly, at least roughly. Karma not ripe yet, what does that mean? Cause and condition not there, lor. Did not have parents who would bring them to Sunday school. They did not come across an Ajahn Brahm and become inspired, or they have been preconditioned to reject anything else other than that one religion that they have been brought up in. Karma, like karma meaning conditioning over their lifetime and the lifetimes before that, the conditioning of their parents that parented them in that way. Then you very quickly realize automatic processes. One domino falling, the next domino, a few dominoes crashing together, then outcome this way, and then a few dominoes fall in different directions. Who do you blame? Which domino is at fault? And then after that, nothing to blame. Count yourself lucky that you have heard the news and that you understand a bit more than the next person. The idea is that eventually you see enough evidence of this sort that you stop blaming. You stop picking a fight with nature. Samsara. That's my definition of nature. And then you complain less, you become more peaceful, and you start enjoying meditation, and the peace takes you to a point where now I really understand. Then, end of story. That's my understanding. Yeah. So after a while, a lot of questions will come up. How do I convince my friends who believe other things to be more to how do I convince other friends to follow this wise man instead of that other wise man? Cause and condition. And the Buddha gives a lot of teachings for daily life use. It's just that there's so much teaching in that 43, 44 years of his life. A lot to experience if you really want to read everything. He gives a piece of advice. If you want to teach somebody, this was Buddha talking to monks, saying, amongst you, sometimes you will find, hey, how come the other monk behaving a bit funny? And your first reaction is, I should tell him off. And the Buddha says, before you do that, please check. Is he likely to listen to you? Is he likely to protest? Is he likely to get hurt? Is he likely to respect you enough to accept your teaching, your advice? He says if that person is a very nice monk, very obedient, very receptive, very good, straight away advise him. If he's the kind where very sensitive, say a bit, get hurt, get angry, but you imagine even at the end he will still listen to me. I think he trusts me and respect me enough. In that case, the Buddha says, good. Even though he get upset a bit, In the long run, it helps you and the Sangha and the other person. Go ahead, talk to him. What if he actually doesn't really get hurt lah, but he is very stubborn in his views? Maybe he doesn't respect me very much. But if I believe that after a discussion, there's a good chance he will still take my advice. It just means I got to talk longer. Then go ahead, talk to him, give him the advice. In the longer term, it's good for you, good for the Sangha, good for him. If he's in the case where, can't call a bit, you have to argue, and he's going to get angry, and he's going to get upset, and he's going to use rough. But good chance at the end, he will accept and change. In that case, the Buddha says, go ahead. Good thing to do. Go and talk to him. In the long run, good for you, good for the Sangha, good for him. But if you think he's going to get upset, get angry at you, and at the end of it all, he's not going to accept your advice. In that case, do not underrate upekkha, equanimity. Understand that the situation is like that. Understand that his conditionings are such. Your conditionings are such. It could also be my fault for being somebody who don't know how to give advice. It can be that I'm a junior monk in his eyes. It can be that I also have that fault and I want to teach him about it. In which case, it's not for you to advise him. Leave it be at peace, go and meditate. So the Buddha actually gives advice like that. So you don't have to solve every problem you come across. Some problems are not for you to solve. Yeah. So a lot of things in the end comes back to second factor of the Eightfold Path, which is Samma Sankappa. What is inside that Samma Sankappa? Excellent, very good. Now the challenge is to apply it. The big words: renunciation, non-harming, non-ill will, non-harming. Easier to remember. Ajahn Brahm translates those big words into simple words. Make peace, be kind, be gentle. Make peace, be kind, be gentle. Your intentions, Samma Sankappa, your intentions, your motivations are more important. It's the underlying tone for right speech, right action, right livelihood. A lot of times, in a place like Singapore, where we consider we need to be professional, so we have to behave properly when we put on your uniform, go to work. When you talk also, cannot use four-letter word, cannot be harsh, have to say things professionally. But how often do you come across people who say things professionally, but you don't feel good listening to those words? I used to call it management speak. They need to tell you bad news, but they put it in a way, this is for the collective good, this is the... But you hear the underlying tone and you know the underlying tone doesn't feel nice, right? And that's often how it is also between relationships, people talking to people. We have the right speech. We say, don't lie, don't use harsh words, don't use malicious gossip, don't use idle chatter. But you can say things very professionally, but with a poisonous intention underneath. And it will still come across as poisonous. these days, I also have a little opinion. Out of right speech, right action, right livelihood, which one is the one that hurts us the most? Do people kill you, steal from you, or cheat on you, or any of those? Speech, right? And this idea of right speech, of useful speech, I don't know why we don't teach it in school. A lot of times, we talk over each other and try and win an argument. And when the other side is loud, we try to be louder. When the other side cuts us off, we want to cut them back. Silly things like that. And then after a while, the discussion is no longer on the problem we need to solve. The discussion just becomes who gives a better idea that can win the argument. And the intention of making peace, being kind, being gentle is lost. Yeah, if you can, all this part of making sense of the world and then not harming the world, and going peacefully in your own way. Now that you have experienced what peace is like and you know what not peace is like, then all the more reason we want to protect the peace in our minds and in our hearts. The more incentive we have to look at the Noble Eightfold Path and apply it. Yeah, whatever you can do for other people, well and good, but first customer yourself, that's the one you can make the biggest change. Any other comments, questions? Yes.
Regarding the five skandhas, the last one, consciousness. I would think can it include the habitual tendency that we have, and which also imply that it store our previous life habits?
I asked Ajahn Brahm that question before. I didn't get a clear answer, so I dare not confirm or deny. But I do agree with you, it does sound that way. Because in the description, in the suttas regarding those five khandhas, they talk about the five khandhas from the past, from the future, and from the present. They talk about sights, sounds, and smells and tastes from the past, from the future, and from the present. So it is not very clear to me yet where memory is stored. On the other hand, I will point out that a lot of our habits exist, and our habits color, if nothing else, sankhara a lot. Most of the time when we look for happiness in the same old places. If it's from TikTok, we keep looking at TikTok. It's from Instagram, we keep looking at Instagram. It's from gambling, we look at gambling. If it's from, all these habits. Some people like sailing, some people like going to East Coast Park and cycle. If that's their source of happiness, they keep repeating it. Some people like to give free advice. Like what I'm doing now. And if I think that's a source of happiness, I'll keep on doing it. Not looking for deeper sense of happiness. So yes, the underlying tendencies play a big part of our samsara, of our old habits. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Thank you, Ajahn, for sharing. I was just wondering on that note, right? Then, what advice do you have for breaking old habits?
Ajahn Brahmali uses this simile, which I like a lot. Like when you're climbing a ladder, you reach for the next rung, and then you have to let go of this rung to hold the next rung. The idea being that every higher rung is a higher happiness. If you have been enjoying giving free advice, and then you think, perhaps there's a higher joy of connecting and having a meaningful conversation rather than just shooting off. When you realize that sitting down, listening, understanding the other person, and then having a meaningful conversation is better than just, then you would change your way of speaking. When you realize resting in meditation is more pleasant than resting with a screen in front of you, you will then choose a higher happiness. The idea then is to go look for those higher happiness. And the Buddha says it's not in your five senses. So yes, try that. Okay, here's what I'm keen to do. This was December last year. So my good friend monk, Venerable 𝐕𝒂𝒂𝒂, he also goes to the Karnat prison with me. And then he very bravely wrote to the prison chaplain and said, we want to conduct a retreat for the prisoners. Can we bring them out to Bodhinyana or Jhana Grove? And of course they said, no, prison is a prison. They're in prison for... okay, in that case, can we have the retreat in the prison? What are you thinking of? A full day retreat just like today. Okay, I'll give you 3 hours. And then slowly we persuaded them to do eventually from 12:30 to 5. So I said, okay, I'll tag along, I'll come with you. Be your assistant lah. Since he was the initiator, I said, you be the boss ah. Then I asked him, what do you want me to do? Okay, he said he was going to give the opening talk. I gave the first guided meditation, and then he'll do the second hour meditation, and then after that we'll have a 3 o'clock break. The guys need to go back to their barracks and do a roll call, and then we'll do a third meditation in the end. But the second meditation, he says it's going to be free and easy. Okay, good. So I did 1 hour of instructions. And then at the end of 1 hour, he went, ding. Then he said, now, freestyle meditation. If you're comfortable, carry on sitting. Believe it or not, guys in the prison sat for 2 whole hours. At the 1 hour 20 mark, I could hear a few people getting restless and shuffling their feet. So I told them, if you need to, stand up, stretch your legs, bend over, whatever you need to do. And then when you're ready, just sit down again. 2/3 of them never got up. And at the end of that, okay, any questions, any comments? Wow, the 2 hours passed really fast. It was really relaxing. It sounded like they needed it. So now we have 1 hour before we have to take a group photo. Can I suggest if you need to stretch or anything, or have water or toilet, we can then start. If you don't mind, we'll...
Bhante, thank you very much for your teachings. I have a question about, I think this morning you mentioned about separating the body sensations with the breathing and the mind, something like that. Like I remember you used some curtain thing.
Yes. Yes.
Then I tried to see how it experiences, how it feels like. But to me, it's like I perceive the breathing through the sensations that I feel, the bodily sensations of the breathing. Yeah, so I don't quite understand that. Could you advise? Yeah, thank you.
Uh, it's I guess it was a mental trick to try and be mesmerized. You know how sometimes when you look at a candle flame, for example, and there's nobody else to talk to you, nobody else looking at you, looking at the candle flame, and you can just stare and stare and stare. It's just you and that candle flame and not the rest of the body. So I was trying to create that image, I guess, of the mind together with the breath, or the mind just watching the breath without the rest of the body. To be so absorbed and mesmerized and fascinated. It's progressively deeper stages of meditation whereby you not interested in the body anymore. Just attention on the breath. And the only thing else other than that is the flavor of happiness and joy. And that takes you deeper and deeper and deeper. The deeper stages of meditation excludes the five senses. So this was just a stepping stone, the breath being the anchor, the last physical sensation, as it were, before even the breath disappears, and then it's just mind and the nimitta. Yeah. In a way, it's a measure of how much you're prepared to let go of feeling the body. Takes a little bit of practice. The more you experience it, the more you find joy in it, the more prepared you're to do it. There's this simile that Ajahn Brahm uses. You know, hot air balloons, right? So you jump into a hot air balloon, you pack your picnic basket, you pack your drinks, and you jump inside, and then you light the fire, and then the hot air heats up the balloon, and so the balloon starts rising. You, of course, have to untie the basket from the anchor on the ground. And then this thing starts rising, and then it reaches a certain level, and they say, how come it doesn't go any further? So what does Ajahn Brahm advise? You don't need the picnic basket, let the picnic basket go. And then it goes a bit further up. How to make it go further up? The sandbags, the ballast weights, throw also lah. And then after that, I think the basket also no need lah. So you hang on to the strings and you cut the rest of the strings, and then you rise further. The idea there is the basket is your body, you can let go. And then apparently, as you go even further up, how? Cannot go further up. The passenger also have to let go lah. Then the balloon will keep on going. So that's the simile that Ajahn Brahm uses. Even this attention thingy, looking at happiness and all that, can let go also. But it takes a little bit of practice and a bit of familiarity and confidence to let go. And those who have done it, which excludes me so far, says it's a very, very nice experience. Yeah. Okay, any more questions? Over time already. All happy? Very good. No unanswered questions? Okay, over to you, Sister Eileen.
Okay, let's share merits. Today is the 7th day of Sis Ellie's passing away. So maybe those of you who know Sister Jenny's sister, so just remember her in your mind, and while we share merits with her.
Ready? Picture in your mind the people you want to share merits with. And we do this. Idam me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Well
Then
done.